Good morning, Homestead family. So we processed 2 turkeys this weekend. It gave the chickens a lot more yard space for them, and I think they're happy. So we got up Saturday morning, and we have been trying to find some time to do this for about 6 weeks, and we finally were able to process the 2 turkeys that we had. A lot of reasons for making that decision. One, they were 2 male turkeys. They were fighting all the time. They were very aggressive towards both of us trying to feed them. And it was one of those functionality things. They weren't giving us any eggs. We didn't have any hopes of reproducing turkeys because they were both males, and we had some younger chickens that were still separated from the flock because they trying to introduce too many chickens into a small amount of space sort of puts pressure on them and stress on them. So we decided that we would we basically doubled the chicken yard, the yard space, by giving them the part that the turkeys had, and so they seem to be happy too. So we'll take a look at them this morning. So I've had people ask me what we feed our turkeys. I feed them a mixture of layer pellets and corn scratch. And then I throw in, because we live in a place that's really, I don't know, it's just, we don't have a lot of nutrients in our soil. So the calcium for the chickens, for them to lay eggs, they need that extra oyster shell. So I just throw in like a handful of oyster shell. They eat what they need. Sometimes I see oyster shell left in the pan. They eat the rest and they don't eat that. That's fine, because they know what they need. So this is what they get every day. I did want to show you what, these are the birds. That's one right there. And there's another one down there. What I used to put these birds up, because I couldn't find bags large enough for these birds. And these bags are actually too big, but I'd rather, too big's okay, too small's not. So this is what I actually wound up using, was these Ziploc storage bags. I'm trying to see, yeah, it's a 10-gallon bag. Probably only needed like a 5-gallon bag, but I was not able to find anything large enough to hold the bag to process the turkeys, so that's what we wound up using. Sometimes you have to get a little creative about how you go about things. You can't always go with what you think you need to do. You just have to figure out alternatives, so that's what we went with. So here's the girls' yard. So this section right here used to be where they all were. And then this section is the new added part. So they've got a pretty large area. Let's see if I can get it all in there. A pretty large area that they have for a yard now. We have a big Rottweiler, and we actually used to have 2 Rottweilers, and just fearful of being able to we'd love to let our chickens free range, but just fearful of being able to let them do that. So we treat them a lot of times. When we cut our grass, we have 5 acres. When we cut our grass, we will catch that grass, throw it in here with the chickens. They love scratching around on that. So they get a lot of treats, trying to mimic being free range as much as possible. They get a lot of live insects and those kinds of things when we're in the garden and we see grub worms or whatever. We'll throw them to the chickens. They love those too. So we try to do our best by our chickens. Well, the chickens are all fed and watered and they're happy. I thought I'd show you a little bit of what we've been doing in the garden lately. More not so much fun stuff, more or less just maintenance stuff, getting ready for the fall. So let me show you this. So we weeded this bed yesterday, and there's a lot of grass growing up on the sides we got to deal with. But that bed's weeded. Here's a bed that needs to be weeded. Oh my goodness. So the peas were done. We haven't replanted yet, and it's just a mess. And so this is something that's just got to be completely pulled up. Here's our watermelon patch. And we've already gotten 2 watermelons from it. Delicious watermelons, the sugar baby watermelons. And if you recall, this was from one, we already planted watermelons, harvested watermelons, and this was like, we pulled them all up, and there was one little scraggling vine that came back, and this is what we got from it. So there's a ton of watermelons still left to grow and pick. So there's one little one growing on the side there. Also this weekend we planted collards, and so we're looking forward to seeing what these produce. Just getting ready for fall plants. Our plans are for some cauliflower and for some broccoli, lettuce, carrots, those kinds of things is what we're planning on. We're getting ready for now. We're cleaning the beds out for those kinds of things right now. So we also finally got these beds weeded. I'll show you them. This tall raised bed here and this tall raised bed here. So I'm not quite sure yet what I'm going to plant in which bed, but those 2 are ready to go. And then these are our sweet potatoes that we planted a couple of weeks ago that are coming along nicely. Just hoping that we get enough warm weather to finish before, and I think we don't need really warm weather, we just need no frost. So hopefully we can get, I think it's 90 to 120 days, something like that for sweet potatoes. So we're probably looking at like 30 days right now, maybe. So while it's still a little bit cool this morning, not excruciatingly hot, I'm gonna go over here and start on another bed. We actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 beds to weed. But we weeded 3 this weekend, and so it's part of the gardening life. You got to take care. You got to keep things weeded. And probably shouldn't have let them get as bad as they are now. But because we didn't have anything actually growing in them, we had kind of gotten to the end of our season, and I didn't want to grow another summer crop, a second summer crop. I was just kind of waiting for fall plants to get here. So that's why I just kind of let it go. Probably shouldn't have let it get as bad as I did, but it's all good. So here's a treat for you. These are leftover sweet potatoes that from over a year ago, probably a year and a half ago, that didn't do well. They got hit by the cold, but one managed to survive and come back, and I've let it go. I don't know how I'm going to dig out the potatoes because I think some of them are probably underneath that raised bed right there. But look at that beautiful bloom. I just love seeing these in the morning. There's this little busy bee. So y'all have a blessed day, and you know, we do what we can with what we have, and we do our best, and we watch God do the rest. Thanks for watching, you guys. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and follow us on Instagram and on TikTok and Facebook. And we will see you soon. Bye-bye.